Hey guys, it's me, Tim from TJ Wrestling, back again with another video. This time is episode 2 of my Smackdown retro reviews, and this is the first one of the new era. And basically, I'm going to get into it right now, and let's follow our way through the show. So, we start off the show with a talking segment, as we do, about a 10 or 15 minute long, and we get introduced to our people who are wanting to become the number contender. Of course, Kurt Angle, The Rock, Chris Jericho, and of course Triple H comes out, and yes, he's the Undisputed Champion, and Vince is to decide who will become the Undisputed Champion, or number contender, to fight Triple H at Backlash. Now, they all try to make their points. Kurt Angle basically steps on that he deserves to become the Undisputed Champion because he's the greatest wrestler of all time. The Rock, of course, is also making a point that he would like Hulk Hogan to become the Undisputed Champion because he will have opportunities in the future, and that he can wait. And then Chris Jericho is saying that he never really lost a title, and it was in a triple threat, not on a singles contendership with Triple H. So Vince is to make up his mind later on the night. So then, before we get to our first match, which is a WWF World Tag Team Championship match between Billy and Chuck, with Rico and Scotty 2 Hotty and Albert. The dysfunctional team of Albert and Scotty 2 Hotty lose as Rico gets involved and ends the contest. After this, Albert breaks up with Scotty 2 Hotty and power bombs him in the middle of the ring. A singles match that followed, we have Christian against Diamond Dallas Page. Christian defeats Diamond Dallas Page by distracting him with one of his, what do we call it, hissy fits, and then beats Diamond Dallas Page straight after with a finisher. In our next segment, we see Vince McMahon back, deciding who will become the number one contender. He decides that the number one contender should be Hulk Hogan. He decides Hulk Hogan will be the most suitable person to be the number one contender because he is an icon to the business, and basically he believes that this will be a great contest for Triple H, and that Hulk Hogan is obviously best for business and stuff like that. So after this, we get into our next matchup, and that is between Edge and Kurt Angle in a singles match. This is kind of like an ongoing storyline where Edge is basically winding up Kurt Angle. Kurt Angle is, of course, a little bit silly, so Edge is basically taking the mick out of him with the "You Suck" chants, which were very over at this point in time, if you didn't realise. And so every time they put in a song, it would be "You Suck." So basically, Kurt Angle doesn't want to hear that. And yeah, in this segment we see the match end in DQ when Kurt Angle hits Edge with a chair in frustration. Our next match is a WWF Cruiserweight title match, and is between Billy Kidman and Tajiri with Tori Wilson. At this point in time, Tajiri is kind of a bad boyfriend to Tori Wilson, they're going at the time, and basically Tajiri makes her wear a geisha outfit, which is like a Japanese thing, and basically he's kind of like very, I suppose, domineering over her and quite impulsive on her, and she's not really taking well to this. Of course, she's still together for a while after this, I suppose, but the relationship is hindering at the moment. So yeah, this one does go bad for Tajiri, as Billy Kidman overpowers him with his moves and wins. Tajiri is very angry and kind of blames on Tori Wilson. Moving on, in a segment that follows, I suppose, we have Triple H and Hulk Hogan in the middle of the ring. Basically, they're talking to each other, they're hyping up the match at Backlash, I believe, in 1 week, and basically Triple H says that he will have no hesitation to kill Hulkamania, and to do it in style. He doesn't care if he has to injure Hulkamania. He doesn't care that he may have been part of his childhood, that he may have been part of the wrestling's childhood, but he won't be afraid to do it. Brilliant quip to that by Hulk Hogan is that he will make Hulkamania rise again, and that he's not scared of Triple H. He respects him, but he will also do the same, and that, again, Triple H, Hulk Hogan is very over at this time. He has the power of the fans on his side. Next up, in our next segment, we have a match, Hardcore Holly against Maven. Before the segment, though, we do have Mr. McMahon, who's talking to Hardcore Holly, who basically wants Harger Holly to destroy Maven because he's not happy with Maven in the WWE. He's basically trying to teach him a lesson, I suppose, as a newcomer, like last week. So that's what he wants. He also sees Stacy Keibler come to him. Stacy Keibler, who is sort of trying to impress him. He's kind of attracted to her, which is kind of weird. But anyways, brushed that off like last week. And basically what happens is she wants basically to convince him to be her assistant so she can try and gain power in the company. So it's sort of her method of getting to a job. And Mr. McMahon is taken to it very well. Then, of course, Devon Dudley comes in, and he is going under a bit of a character change at the moment. He says, Mr. McMahon is telling them, basically, you're out of the door if you don't come up with something new and innovative. Get out of here and come back when you're a new character. So Devon Dudley would go, and he's kind of angry at this point in time. We will see him return next week. We're a very well-known character. I suppose you can all guess who it is, but I will not reveal it until next week. And it's a cool little change and a nice little segment next week, actually, that I really enjoyed. So after that, we have the main event, and it's The Rock against Chris Jericho. This is kind of like a grudge match, I suppose, of sorts. Jericho has gotten the win over Rock before. Remember when he won the Undisputed Championship? He beat The Rock and Stone Cold the same night. So this is sort of like a grudge match, a very nice, enjoyable match. Goes outside the ring. There's a lot of, I suppose, built-up tension between the two, I suppose. I also enjoy Jericho very much. They're also great charismatic characters, so it's always fun to see them go at odds. And a lovely finish where we get a trade of finishers before The Rock hits his rock bottom to win the match. I believe there was no people coming into this match, but usually in the main event of these shows, there's a lot of times there's interference. So anyways, that was the end of the show. It was quite a plain show. I suppose it was kind of predictable at the start. As of course Hulk Hogan would win. There were some pretty cool matches, like the main event was pretty nice. Some of the segments outside were alright. I wouldn't say they were pretty amazing, but they were just kind of standard stuff you get on a standard SmackDown episode. Again, I'm a big fan of some of the characters in the show, so that's always a good thing when you get behind them. Yeah, it was really enjoyable. I suppose you could say that a kind of a letdown was probably the Hulk Hogan and Triple H segment. It was quite boring and long, and really it wasn't very necessary. I would prefer maybe to have a match there with Triple H competing on the show or Hulk Hogan competing on the show, which was kind of a letdown there. I suppose the stuff between Edge and Kurt Angle was pretty funny, and yeah, I know about the stuff between Billy and Chuck and Amber and Saito Hottie. Billy and Chuck, I suppose they're an interesting team. I do find Rico interfering too much is kind of a nuisance, and I do feel like that he's kind of dominating the team a bit. Rico is kind of annoying, to be honest, so I don't know, he's getting on my nerves a bit, even though it's week 2, seeing him it's just kind of annoying, to be honest. Yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. That is SmackDown. I'll be back next week, or back next time, probably tomorrow, with another SmackDown review, so I'm excited to see what happens, and see you all next time. Bye, guys.